What's up, everybody? So, yo, jump. Go ahead and drop your city, where you tuning in from, or your country where you're watching from. Drop your name, especially if you have a weird YouTube handle. Drop that in the comment section as you're joining me. I'm gonna keep playing for a minute. You wanna grab your bass? I'm in the key of 8. Well, yeah, in the key of 8. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up, you ladies? Practice, discovery, listening. Boy, y'all are on here early this morning. So they said the early bird gets the worm. I said we start at 7:30, but I appreciate you guys that are early jumping on. And I'm gonna keep playing for a little minute and give people time to jump on. Like I said, this and I'll say this again later, but what I'm playing, this groove is actually, I broke down the line that I'm doing in this. I'll play it for a minute so you can hear it. Wow, Steve. What's up, Larry? So I'm doing this line in here. I'm not gonna break it down on this particular one. What's going on, Melvin? Make sure you're watching the road, man. But the line that I'm playing in here, I broke it down on 1 minute lick number 10. So if you want this this groove in terms of what I'm playing and the breakdown of this lick, it's on lesson 1 minute breakdown number 10 on my 1 minute lick series. I'm gonna probably be playing a few of these in these live broadcasts. I want y'all to go back and check those out because it's actually a pretty cool lick that you can add if you guys are playing some like shouting music or something like that. But y'all know me, it don't have to be reserved just for shouting music. It's just something that I threw off into a shouting groove. Yeah, so this is just typical shout right here, you know. Friday one. Adjust this camera. Alright, so for the ones who jumping on, go ahead and drop your where you are, where you're tuning in from, like your country, your state. You can drop the time, anything like that. Let me see you comment. If you have a name that I don't know to handle, be sure to drop your name as well. But give me some more people time to get on. I'm in the key of A. Using my thumb. What's going on, Brandon? What's up, Russell? What's up, Waverly? What's up, Nathaniel? Sean, I see you, man. So after a while, that thumb does get tired, but it's a cool technique if you can kind of figure it out. And it's not super hard. It's just thumb picking. Now y'all probably seen a lot of people talk about that particular technique. I don't always use it in shout music, especially when I'm playing with the band, because it has the tendency, if you're not clean or if you get tired with it, it can get dirty. And if you have your highs, like I kind of got my highs boosted now, and like you're really getting a lot of the presence of your bass, it can cut through a lot. What's up, Kelvin? Roanoke, I see you. If you're not careful, it can like be overbearing in the mix. So when you're doing that particular technique, you got to be mindful of the tone of your bass. Right now, I'm just having fun. I ain't really thinking about all of that. I'm just playing, and obviously, I'm playing with a backing track. Charlotte, I see you, man. What's up? But yeah, so you got to be kind of mindful of that, making sure that the tone of your bass is not overbearing, especially with those high strings. Right there, I think that cuts back a lot of the, you can hear a lot of the clarity. Of course, we like to hear all the clarity of our basses when we're playing stuff, but you have to make sure that you don't get in the way of anything else that's kind of in that same frequency when you're doing that. You have to make sure it's clean, because sometimes, again, after you've played it for a while, it has a tendency to get dirty if you're getting tired. But, it's just, for me, it's just using wrist, very little forearm movement. So my arm is not getting tired. It's wrist, and it's keeping that thumb extended. Pretty much, I got big hands, as y'all can see. But it's a down up motion with that thumb. So it's one of those things that you can use. And right now, I got my highs boosted pretty good, but I can pull those back. Yeah, man, Steve, it's like I said, it's a I've heard several bass players do it. It comes from that guitar picking kind of technique, but it's just taking that same idea and applying it to bass. And like a guitar player, obviously I play guitar, and where we would have a pick doing that same kind of technique, it's like a it's harder for me to pick on the bass because it's the string spacing is a lot wider. It looks like your wrist is stiff and you're moving your my wrist is actually moving. If you can see it, very little movement, but my wrist is a down up, it's a quick, but I'm not doing that. I'm not moving my forearm as much. Sometimes, depending on if I'm not really paying attention to it, I might start moving my forearm by accident, but most of the time it's wrist. It should be wrist. Okay. Andre, I see you, man. Cameroon. But yeah, it's supposed to be just wrist. It's not necessarily supposed to be forearm. But like every now and again, I'll get tired and I'll switch up the motion and do more work with my forearm to give my wrist a break, and then I'll go back. So it's one of those things that I kind of, it's y'all know me. I'm never all the way one way with anything. It's like I'm subject to go back and forth with the different techniques, because I want to make sure that whenever I'm using it, I'm just being effective with whatever I'm doing. And after a while, sometimes my wrist can get tired, and so I go back and forth. But the better way to do it, though, to keep you from completely getting tired, especially I've been playing now for about 10 minutes, playing that technique over and over again, it's like the wrist would probably give you the better endurance with it, just using the wrist. Because you can sit there for, for hours and do that. And a good way to start practicing on that particular technique is just take, just like shout music, a good chromatic walk. And try to make the notes as even as possible. It's gonna be difficult to do. No, Sean, I don't do Skype lessons. I on my website I offer monthly membership lessons, and those are weekly lessons with me via video. So I had to kind of do away with the Skype lessons due to time. Go to JermaineMorgan.net. Check out monthly membership. I'll explain all of that, and you'll kind of see, you get the idea of what I'm talking about. So yeah, I do offer lessons, but they're not the typical one-on-one lessons. They are video-based lessons. So, and there are a slew. I don't know how you spell that. Slew. Is that SCHL? There's a slew of videos, and I do have a course where I'm doing shout lessons, like shout bass. It's called the Shout Bump Bass course. So if any of you guys are interested in what I've been playing for the last 10-15 minutes, it's called shout music. So if you don't know what that is or don't have a clue to what shout music is because you didn't grow up in a church or whatever, I have a course that teaches you kind of how to play shout music and the different nuances and all that kind of stuff as it pertains to shout music and all that. So yeah. And I think on the monthly membership lessons, on one of the lessons, like I said, it's several hundred. It's a lot of lessons out there as far as the lessons that I put out for us, the monthly membership lessons. If you're a part of that, I'm going to, Nelson, shout music, man. It's from church. All of this stuff you will hear in any. I want to go to the top church in America. I don't know what the top church in America is, but yeah, that's cool. But yeah, you will hear that in almost any charismatic black church. You'll hear that kind of music. I got you, Brandon. But in any almost charismatic type of black church, you are subject to hear every now and again, you're subject to hear this breakout. Spontaneous praise, what they call it, spontaneous praise break. If you want to look up on YouTube, search praise breaks. If you got time today to spend time binge watching, just look up praise breaks, and you'll see a whole bunch of videos, more than you want to know. I grew up. Yeah, I got you, Nelson. Who is that? Carozan? I don't know how to say that. But I got you, Arizona. What's up, man? Oh, yeah, I forgot. If you're just jumping on, if you're just joining us kind of late, be sure to drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. Your name, if your name is not if you got a title that says Biker23 or something, I'm definitely not going to know who you are. So be sure to drop your name and where you're tuning in from in the comments as you're getting on. Atlanta. Okay, Nelson. All right, that tune has a bit of... It does, man. And talking about this, what I'm playing has a bit of a country twang to it. It's a very close thing with just the guitar playing and shout music, because a lot of times in church, what's up, Dan? A lot of time in church, you have that whole shouting thing being driven by like the organ. It's like organ, drums, bass, piano. Those are the main instruments that's driving the shout generally. So when a guitar player kind of chimes in, and as you're hearing in that track, the guitar is more dominant. It tends to have more of a country kind of twang to it, and that's kind of the approach most of the guitar players take. It's like, what was it? Let me see if I can imitate the guitar. It's something like that the guitar player is doing. I played the guitar part, but it is what it is. I'm not on the guitar right now, so. it definitely feels very, very country, and it's coming from that southern type of background. Like obviously, I'm from the South. Uh, I'm from Mississippi, so my perspective on the shout is gonna have more of a southern kind of feel to it. Depending on where you go. If you go up north, it might feel completely different. Go Midwest, their shouts. Go out west, it's like all of them. Each different culture here in the U.S. feels different when it comes to the shout music. So maybe some of you people that are watching from, what's up, Terrence? Some of you people that are watching from different areas, y'all can attest to that. Depending on where you're from, y'all have your own sound when it comes to the shout music. New Orleans, yes sir. Yeah, man. So it's like every in New Orleans, I love y'all shout, man. It's like it got a different kind of little flavor on it. Uh, Finger movement, I'm pretty sure I do on the monthly membership. We deal with some different type of exercises, some different type of things that you can do as far as like finger movement exercises, different type of things. Because I've been doing the monthly membership for almost 3 years now. So we've covered, man, from A to Z, we've covered a lot of different things in terms of the things that I know and the things I deal with. And my biggest thing on my monthly membership lessons, what I'm trying to do is just try to give you guys the tools that I've employed over the years that have worked for me, that have helped me grow my playing. Because I know what it's like, man, to be in that rut and feel like you're not going anywhere as it pertains to your playing. You're just stuck. You're not growing, and you're just working on stuff, but you feel like you're not getting anywhere. And over time I started finding a little different stuff here through a lot of massive research. I started finding little stuff here and there, or little nuggets I would get from people. You know what I'm saying? I would get little nuggets from people that would help like push me forward in my plan. I'm like, man, I would have spent 3 months on just this thing right here. I went to a church in England, elementary school. The music was, that was it. Yeah. Uh, I can't even relate, man. I haven't been to England. I've never been there. So I hope to get to come sometime soon. Never been there. So yeah, I've been to, and let me say this, all churches are not the same in terms of the music. I've been to different churches, different denominational churches, multicultural churches, white churches, black churches. I've been to a lot of different churches, and had the privilege of being a musician at several different types of churches, and they are not all the same. I will say that from experience. All churches are not the same in terms of the musical experience, and we're talking strict. I'm not talking doctrine. I'm talking musical experience. Been on the monthly membership for 2 years. Lots of great content. Man, thank you, Terrence. I really appreciate that. And so there's one of my students there, Terrence Spence. So yeah, it's a lot of content there. And Terrence, no, we've covered everything. I mean, we've even covered different stuff. There's been times that I've offered some just motivational stuff on the monthly membership lessons, because even in our plan, we get those times we reach those low points and it really, this is bringing me to my point of this post, which you saw today, where I said, go for what you know. But it's like, we get to those points in our playing where we just, man, you can get beat down at times, and it feels like you're not getting anywhere, and you're really hard on yourself. So I even offer encouragement from time to time to the students, and just staying with it, man, because it's difficult. I'm not gonna say learning or becoming a better player is easy. A lot of the times, the younger generation, if anybody is younger on here watching, don't take offense to this, but y'all have it a lot easier than we had. Like people that are my age and closer to my age, and millennials and so forth. I'm a little bit over the millennial age group, but I'm right there on the cusp of it. So I feel like the generation coming up, because there's so much instant information, you guys have it a little bit easier than we did. So it's easier to get discouraged no matter what age you are now. I'm not saying just because you have it easier that it doesn't get hard from time to time. It is still hard. It's very difficult trying to master this instrument. I still haven't mastered it. I don't know if I ever will, but that's the beauty of it, is learning. I missed a comment, and I'm gonna jump into this subject real quick. Is your lessons broken down in the course sections, like beginner, intermediate, advanced? They're not broken down as far as that, but they are topic driven. There is a side where you can go to, what is it? I gotta go to the website and look at. There's a particular word I'm looking for, but there's a category search that you can look for the different categories and what I'm talking about. I worked at a Pentecostal church a few years back. Music and the band leader wrote reminded me of American. Yeah, yeah, and you will experience that from the more Pentecostal background churches and that kind of thing. But yeah, going for what you know, what I want to talk about today, or something that I want to kind of touch on. I'm not going to just spend the whole time talking, but what I want to touch on today with the whole going for what you know type deal is a lot of times, especially with people like me that's on YouTube teaching, and I'm giving you new stuff every week and new ideas and different things you can use. A lot of times we find ourselves to in the place where we're kind of constantly searching for something new, constantly searching out the latest thing, the newest thing. Scott's bass lesson, he posted something this week. Derek Bennett, he posted something. Jermaine, he posted something. This person posted something. That person posted something. So everybody always have all this information. So you're being flooded with new information every day. So let me ask you this. With being flooded with so much information on a daily basis, how much of this stuff are you retaining? And how often are you working on the stuff you already know? Just a rhetorical question. So you're being constantly flooded with information, which is good because that means almost like a library. That's constant things you can go and watch and go and pull from, especially when you hit a rut and you're playing. You got constant, well, you got tons of information that you can go. You're like, I can't come up with a lick. Let me go see what Jermaine got. You know what I'm saying? Or I need some help with trying to spell out this chord. Let me see what Derek Bennett put up. You know what I'm saying? So now you got all these different resources when you hit these ruts that you can go and pull from. And that's excellent that you can do that. It's great. You know, that's why we're here. That's why we're here to help. But at the same time, how much time are you spending on perfecting what you already know? We hit on this last week just a little bit. Somebody asked a question about something similar, and I mentioned the fact, and this is something I went to a good friend of mine, Adam Nitty. I went to one of his bass clinics, and he talked about perfecting it. It kind of stuck with me after he said it. He talked about, oh yeah, it's information overload for sure. But Adam Nitty hit on this point. He said, you know, we should practice to perfect the things that we know. Let me see here. Monthly membership is the way. Let's go. Oh, what's that? Man, thank you, Nathaniel, man. I always go back and work. Yes, sir. Yeah, monthly membership. That's where it's at, y'all. But Adam Nitty was talking about, what's up, David? I see you. He was talking about the fact of taking the things that you know and perfecting those things. Working on the things you know, because these are the things that get deposited into your subconsciousness, or your muscle memory, rather. When you're playing a gig, most of the time you're gonna go, especially if it's something like what I was just playing. You know, we on a shout groove like this right here. Come on here, shout groove. So we're playing something like this right here. Your brain, and that ain't as fast as some shout music is, but for some people that's really, really fast. Like the BPM of that is like 135. We do like 153, 160. Like, yeah, they be playing fast. So that right there, you have a little bit of time to think, but the chances are you're not gonna be too quick to try to pull out something new over that, unless you've been on it for a while and you're just trying and experimenting stuff, and you're in a more Pentecostal setting. Of course, you're gonna try new stuff. But if this is spontaneous, y'all break out and you got like, okay, give me 30 seconds of a praise break, you're not gonna try your new stuff. More than likely, you're not gonna pull out your new lick you just learned from Jermaine Morgan. You're not gonna pull that one out. Not right there. It's like you're gonna wait till you got it way up under your hands and way in your muscle memory before. Okay, Steve, man, thank you. Absolutely. You're gonna wait. You're gonna wait until you got this stuff locked in your muscle memory before you pull it out, because it has to be comfortable to you before your hands actually go there. Because you got to think about it. You always, most of the time, play from a place of comfortability. Comfortability. Let me say that word. Comfortability. Comfort. Don't worry about it. We normally play from that place, and when we do that, it's like we're pulling stuff that we've worked on for years. We're pulling out the stuff that we worked on for years. So if we're pulling out the stuff we worked on for years, that means the newer stuff that we just learned, all these 16 licks that we just learned from Jermaine, we're not going to pull these out this week. We might pull one of them out, but the chances are we're not going to pull out all 16 of them. We're not going to do it. If I posted videos every day this week and you got a lick, that's 5 licks. You're not going to pull out all 5 of those licks at church. The chances are very slim. Or wherever you're playing at on a gig, you're not going to have the place to pull them all out. So the thing is to work on this stuff, continue to develop it, but figure out how to incorporate it into what you already know. That's the key, perfecting what you know. And as you perfect what you know, you continue to add a little bit more to it. Build, add more to it. And whatever that new thing is, continue to work that into your practice routine. Whatever that practice routine is, continue to work and add that new thing. Like, I'm not saying don't keep seeking out information. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to set aside time with all this new information that you're seeking out. You have to set aside time to work on these ideas. So far behind on the weekly lessons because I'm trying to retain. Got you, Nathaniel. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. There's nothing wrong with that, Nate. Man, it's that's the idea, though, man. Those lessons are there for when you need them. You know, go and grab that information, and then take this idea and completely embellish whatever this idea is to the best of your ability before you move on to the next thing. But the idea, the way I got the monthly membership lesson set up for you people who are interested in knowing more about kind of how I do the monthly membership lesson. It's almost like meeting with me one time a week. So basically, you have 7 days in between each lesson, or 6 days rather, because just say if I give you a lesson today, today's Tuesday, you won't get another lesson from me with the monthly membership from me until the way it's set up. I have it set up to where the lessons are emailed out to you weekly. But there is a catalog where you can go, and if you want to skip ahead in the lessons, you can do that. You can skip ahead and go to the next lesson. You can just go and pick whatever lesson you want to see. There's a catalog of lessons with the monthly membership plan that you can just go to the next lesson. But the way I have it set up, the way I initially set it up, is almost as if we were doing these lessons once a week. So you can go through there, and whatever your lesson is this week, we're working on the natural minor scale. You spend all this week on the natural minor scale, just really honing in, seeing how you can apply this scale, seeing how it works in your music, so that it gives you roughly 6 days. You know, I ask that you put in at least 2 hours a day on your instrument. So, you know, you have roughly 5 days, you have roughly 10 hours that you've spent on that natural minor scale, implementing that natural minor scale. And then whatever the next lesson is next week, we might talk about the melodic minor scale, or we might talk about a Dorian mode, or we might talk about groove. It's like there's no particular thing. We go, okay, we're just gonna stay on this for the next 6 months. No, it's like I might spend a little bit of time on the scales. I might spend a week or two on groove. I might spend a week or two. Sometimes there are lessons and ideas that I talk about. I might spend one lesson on it, and because it gets so good, we extend that to another lesson. Like this concept of the double thumbing idea that we were talking about earlier when I was playing that shout groove. It's like, if I feel like I didn't cover enough of that subject in one lesson, I might come back on the next lesson for the next week and spend some more time on that, because I want to make sure that the members have it. You know, I want to make sure that they have the idea of what I'm talking about. Because if you can get the concept of the idea that I'm talking about, I feel like you can take that and apply it to almost anything. And that's the same way, even if you're not a monthly membership, a monthly membership member. Thank you, Flash. So those are the things that I try to capitalize on, is making sure you actually have it. I don't want to just keep loading you with information. The thing about YouTube, obviously, these videos are going to be here. And, you know what I'm saying? There's no rush in having to learn this stuff. I love when you watch the videos. It gives me views. It helps me to keep creating content. So I love it when y'all keep watching the videos over and over again. But the idea is just to keep putting the information out there, making the information available. None of us are supposed to die with all of this stuff that we know. All these licks I teach, I don't know if I can write enough song to put all this stuff in. It's so much material. And to sit and hold this stuff and be stingy with all of it, it's pointless. It's like why would I die with all this information that I have? God freely gives this information, so why would I take it to the grave? It's like there's information that I share on a monthly on YouTube lessons, and there's more in-depth explanations that I do with my monthly membership lessons, which is the paid memberships. But all in all, man, there's so much material out here, so much stuff that we can take and apply to our playing. I mean, there's no way we can go wrong. I missed a comment here. Let's see here. I need to perfect my modes and how to incorporate them into my playing. So yeah, Sean, man, you know, it's a timing thing, man. You just take time. It takes time, and nothing happens overnight. The problem that takes place is when we get in a hurry, trying to figure it all out. I remember my journey as I was learning, and I was already playing professionally, but I think it was like 2007, 2008. I got introduced to Hadrian Farrell. Anybody, Hadrian Farrell, some people say it that way. But, I got introduced to his playing way back then, and it really pushed me to want to learn more about that type of music. I came in here late, so it's 5 a.m. Oh, it's all good. Cello for Jesus. It's all good. Thank you for joining. But yeah, I got introduced to his music, and I was hearing the stuff he was playing, and I had never heard anybody play that type of stuff before. So it was a complete culture shock, to say the least, for me to hear that and to try to grasp and understand that. But it gave me a benchmark to push myself. So each week I was pushing myself. I was frustrated as all get out because I'm like, I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand that type of solo, and it didn't make any sense to me. The way that they use different inversions, the way that I wasn't that technical, so it didn't make any sense, to say the least. So it took me a while before I really started understanding the concept of what they were doing. And before you know it, though, after a while, you could hear some of those little things start coming out in my playing. Not that I was becoming a copycat of him, not by a long shot, but some of the ideas that I began to develop, I was hearing, so I started getting familiar with some of the people he studied. Obviously, you go back to Jaco Pastorius, and I started listening to like Matthew Garrison. I started listening to some of the stuff from Anthony Jackson, started listening to Gary Willis. Each of these things start coming to me because once you get hungry for information, once you get hungry for knowledge, it starts being open to you. The more you want to learn, the more information you find that's available to you. Kind of use, for example, they call it your reticular activating system, I think. But it's like once you start looking for a certain kind of car, you ever notice how those cars start popping up everywhere? You start seeing them everywhere. It's like, man, I was looking for this Tahoe. I was looking for this, this Maxima. I was looking for this Bugatti. I'm not buying a Bugatti, but God bless y'all if you do. But yes, you start looking for these different types of things. And once you start looking for them, they start popping up everywhere. You just start seeing them. Every place they're just popping up. It's because now you've become aware of this stuff and you're looking for these things. So now that information that was once hidden to you, you probably passed over several of my videos before you actually figured out who I was. And once you saw who I was, what I did, how I play, it's like, oh, Jermaine has another video up. Let me check it out. Now you're aware of almost every video that I post up, or you're either looking for a video that I'm posting up because you're aware of what I have to offer. The same thing with the information. It's the same thing as you're trying to grow as a player. As you're, kind of getting into the mode of taking in all this information and all this different stuff. All right, Nate, I'll see you, man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate this. Hang in there. But as you continue to grow, as a player and apply this different stuff, this information is going to keep coming. But the thing is, don't get frustrated with the overwhelming stuff and feel like you're so far behind. Just take it slow. Take your time and make sure you're executing and you're not rushing through this different stuff. Because you can look, social media will show you everybody that's great. Everybody is posting the best version of themselves always online. And so you can be distracted and discouraged by seeing what everybody else is doing to the point that, man, I feel like I'm not going anywhere. I'm finna give this thing up. Don't quit. Don't give up on trying to become better, trying to become a better player. It's just going to take time. That's pretty much the short version of all of this long spiel. It's just going to take time. It's going to take time, but spend the time perfecting what you know. Get really, 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 really good at what you already know. If you ain't doing nothing but playing a quartet drive, you know, if you're doing that, that's all you're doing. Perfect that. Make sure you're the best at playing a drive. Like that's for y'all that don't know. You didn't come from that background. That's called a quartet drive. You know what I'm saying? You got the drum. Yeah, it's a straight drive. We'll see you later, Flash, man. Thank you for hanging in there with me. But that's the thing, guys. It's like whatever it is, you know, take that and perfect it. Go for what you know. That's pretty much the bottom line of everything I'm talking about today. I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of time going back over that. But anyway, before I get out of here, are there any questions? Is there anything you guys want to ask before I jump off? I got some other things to get into, got some traveling to do today as well. So I just wanted to make sure I kept my word and I came back on here this morning and talk to y'all, man. Share with y'all, for everybody that's joining in these lives. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the talk to you one-on-one. So this is your time. Drop your comments. Let me know your concerns, your thoughts. If anything you want to say, anything you want to share about the other videos that I've been posting lately. I'm getting into more gospel-driven lessons. Just want to say thanks for sharing with us. Man, Brandon, it's my absolute pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure. But yeah, I'm getting into more gospel-driven lessons on my channel in this season of my plan. I don't know where we'll be in 6 months from now, but for now, we're probably going to spend a little bit more time. If you guys are wondering where the lessons are headed, we're spending a little bit more time on these gospel Christian ideas. We appreciate the talk and time. Yeah. Man, absolutely. Who is that? I miss your name. Arifa? I think that's how you say that. When did I get into the music industry and how? I've been playing for a majority of my life, Brandon, and I just kept working towards, I don't know, just being a better musician, and things started happening, especially once I moved to Atlanta. I lived in a place in Mississippi at the time that there wasn't much of a. Okay, Steven, I'll say something about that before I get off of here. But I lived in a city at the time that there wasn't much of a music scene. I was playing in the music scene, the little music scene we had, the gospel quartet scene way back then when I lived in Mississippi. But as I moved to Alabama to go to UNA, University of North Alabama, and I was involved a little bit in the music scene there, not much. But once I moved to Atlanta, I really started getting more involved into the gospel music scene and some secular stuff, more gospel, more jazz. I played a little while with Jeff Sparks, smooth jazz, contemporary jazz artist, and so I was more involved in that jazz, soul, gospel kind of setting. Did a lot of work with Canton Jones, and I don't know, man. It was just making that move and stepping out on faith and moving to Atlanta, and actually getting busy and letting people know I was here. That kind of helped me to, I guess, kind of get more into the scene, the music scene, and that type of thing, and making myself available. A lot of my stuff came from YouTube, Facebook and YouTube, putting out what I do online, making it available. I started doing a lot of remote recording, and that helped me as well to gain notoriety and people to find out who I was and what I had to offer, just by simply putting it out there on YouTube, putting together videos. People would find those videos, and I started getting calls for work. And it always helps as well to getting recommendations from different people who are respected that recommend you word of mouth. That helped me as well. So those are some of the things that kind of helped me to get into the music industry. I missed something else. All right. And so, yeah, Brandon, that was about 2007, I want to say, that I moved to Atlanta in 2006. I started kind of working at a church and stuff like that. But I don't think I really started digging into the music industry in Atlanta until like around 2007. First year I was here, I was just trying to network and get to know people. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. Uh, I'm a member of Derek Bennett's site, and I want to join yours as well to get another perspective or approach. Derek Bennett's site is awesome. Would it be much to add another? No, it wouldn't be too much. You can go on my site. Mine, I can tell you guys now, my membership packages, the basic monthly membership package is $11.99 a month. $11.99 a month. That's all it is, and you can cancel at any time. And if you want to be the membership plus, which means you have access to all of the content, like all of the courses, the base content that I post on the site, that's like $39.99 a month. That means you get access to all of the shout courses, the congregational courses, plus the monthly membership lessons, and the riffs and licks, all of those courses, any new courses that I post, you have access to all of those as well as the weekly, monthly membership lessons. So that's totally up to you, man. And Derek is doing an amazing job. So my hat's off to him as well. Let's see. Steven, you asked about the album. Yeah, I put out an album with my band. The first album, if any of you guys are familiar with any of my music at all, you know they have all been just solo records in terms of me doing Jermaine Morgan, just, bass albums. But I did one singing album that is still Jermaine Morgan. I'm Not Afraid. I still play a little bass on it. I'm playing all the bass on there, of course. But the band record was the first record that I've done with the same group of people from start to finish, and those the same guys that I travel with when my band has to play somewhere. I decided to pull the band together. Only different person that's on the team on the record is Darius Fant, but there's a history. He's been on all my albums, but he's never just been a full member of my band until recent years. Up until Darius, there was Carrington Green, who was my first drummer for the band. And Carrington has played on tons of my records, played on most of the earlier albums. Carrington just moved away for a time. So Darius came in and like basically kind of took up the spot as the new drummer. But I still work with Carrington. But yeah, for this album, the Jermaine Morgan Band, Dreams Work Reality, is Darius Fan on drums, Will Perry on keys, and myself on everything else as far as guitar, bass, and auxiliary and all this other kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a fun album, and the idea, as you see the shirt I have on, we do have merchandise, guys. Shameless plug. The idea behind this album is kind of the theme of where I am in life. Dreams plus work equal reality. Is one thing to dream it, but it's another thing to put feet to it and start working whatever that dream is. That's the only way you're going to see the reality. And the whole concept behind that is, doing the work, putting the work, putting the work behind the dream, the work behind the vision, and going after purpose, seeking what it is you're here to do, and putting everything to it. That is the whole theme of the album. If you want to know more about that, I have a video that talks about DreamWorks reality. So be sure to check that out on my page. I won't spend too much time on that. Matter of fact, if you go to my coaching tab on my JermaineMorgan.net, if you go to that coaching tab, it'll tell you more about, it's a video there that talks about the concept of dream plus work equals reality. You know what I'm saying? So the coaching thing, if you want to get into that, that's there as well. I'm trying not to spend too much time talking about this stuff, but yeah. Let me see. I missed something else. Tyrone, I appreciate the encouragement because it do get tough at times. Man, Tyrone, it's my pleasure, man. And if I can be here to help some of y'all get through and navigate through some of the stuff that I really struggle with, that's why I'm here. It was by the grace of God that I attained any level of success, not because I was so great, because I always felt like I sucked, especially when I was first getting started into this music industry. I always felt like I was behind. So if I can encourage you guys to just stay in there, to hang in there, no matter where you are at in your level of playing, just hang in there, keep going, keep pushing. It's going to pay off. It's definitely going to pay off. Your success might not look like my success, but you define success by how you see success. Success to me is different from how everybody else defines success. I'll share this with you guys, not to brag, but just to be transparent and to be grateful and show you guys what I see as success. I've been able to play on some major platforms in my career. Where I'm from, that was unheard of. I'm from a small town in Houston, Mississippi. I grew up, you know, my parents were very good parents. I had a stepfather, that stepped up to the plate um, after my mom remarried, and so we came from humble beginnings, to say the least. And I was never one that was, had a lot of opportunity handed to me, but at the same time, I put a lot of work in trying to be better, not because I was trying to be famous or be known or be rich or be anything like this. It's just I enjoyed what I did. And throughout my years, God has blessed my consistency. Even when I wasn't consistent, He'd give me opportunity after opportunity and allowed certain doors to be open for me and allowed me to meet some great people. I could tell y'all some stories, some people that I've come in contact with, some things that I've done, but it's not about that. That's not important. But the point of it is I've had some amazing things to happen in my career that I'm super humbled and grateful by. And one of the most amazing things was me meeting my wife and actually being able to marry her. I met her in college. We were married. We still are married, and we have three wonderful kids. Man, they be bad at times, but they're wonderful none the least. And that to me is success. And not to mention the little success I've experienced with my career. Um, Am I doing everything I want to do in my career? No. But that doesn't define success for me. It's attaining goals that I set and continuously attaining those goals. I set a goal that I wanted to have my car paid off. My truck, my dream truck, I'll share this with you. I told y'all I'm being transparent. My dream truck was a Cadillac Escalade. And I wanted that truck when I was riding in my Saturn in college. And my anybody know about your little Saturn, I had an SL2. It was green, had 17-inch wheels on it. You couldn't tell me nothing. But my dream was to have a Cadillac Escalade. And the Lord blessed me to be able to do that and to have my truck and to pay for my truck. It's like paid for. And I'm good in terms of vehicles. I don't want nothing else right now. Now, I ain't saying, Lord, you can't bless me with anything. If He wants to do that, by all means. But I'm saying that was my dream. So once I got there and I was able to take care of that, pay for that successfully, I didn't struggle to do that. And I paid it off, early. And I got what I was after. So for me, that's success. Right now, the house that we're living in, I have been wanting and had it on my dream list to get a certain house and to get, land. I wanted land for my kids. I'm sitting right now on that dream. I'm literally living in it. I'm in the house that we wanted, and it might not be the best house for everybody else, but for what I wanted, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the land, I'm sitting on, almost 10 acres of land where I'm at. And that's not to brag again, guys. I'm just being transparent to tell you, you define success by what you want, not by what everybody else. You don't measure your success by what everybody else is doing. A good friend of mine, Justin Raines, bass player extraordinary, is doing some phenomenal things in his career, playing with Israel Houghton, playing with Neo, doing all these things on all these big stages. Of course, most bass players, that's their ambition to be like that. That's not my desire. I have no desire to do what he's doing. I vicariously living through what he's doing, I can enjoy his success for what it is instead of wanting his success. I don't want his success. I want what's for me. And I encourage you guys to do, I didn't mean to get on this, but I encourage you guys to do the same thing. Go for what you want that's for you and define success by what you accomplish on your own. And that way you're not stuck with the emotions of I didn't accomplish this, I ain't got this person got that. Your dream might not be to have no Escalade. You might want a Tahoe. So what? That's what you want. It's not, you might want a Ford F-150. So what? If that's what you want, that's what you want. It's about what you want and going after what you want. Anyway, too much into that. That's for the coaching calls. If you want to talk more about that kind of stuff, I have coaching I have coaching calls for that kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, that's let me get these other messages here. I live in Australia and I can't find gospel music that I found on YouTube where I live in Australia. I really want to experience what it's like to be there. It looks like so much. Jake, man, it is a lot of fun. If you find some of these ministries and stuff, there are a lot of conferences and stuff. But for the time being, you can start streaming, man. Streaming some of these different services from these different people like T.D. Jakes, the church I used to be at, New Birth. I mean, the worship experience is awesome. New Birth, MB Church. TD Jakes is like the Potter's House. Uh, Stephen Furch, I can't even pronounce his last name, but like a lot of these different people, y'all drop some names of some different ministries that he can check out, because and just go back through here and look at some of the names. Some of you people know it might be some of your churches that might be where he is. I don't know. I haven't been everywhere in the world, but yeah, man, it's awesome experience. But for the time being, if you can't get there, stream it. You know what I'm saying? Check out some of their online broadcasts. A lot of these places are broadcasting live services, so you can get a feel for it, even if you can't be there in person. Put you some headphones on, man. Plug it up to your studio monitors, and suck it all in. You know what I'm saying? Get all of it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where you're coming from, but man, create it. If you're not experiencing it, stream it and create it. Plug your bass up and play with them. That's the best I can say for now. Let's see here. Just David, great channel. I'm looking forward to the future content. Gotta go. All right, just David, I probably missed you already, but thank you, man. Brandon, my pleasure. Have your stuff and your band is off. Man, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate that. Bo, I see you. Can you show us Sugar Hill's Rapper's Delight? It's my favorite bass line of all time. I won't do it today, but my good friend Chip Sheeran played on that. If you're not following Chip Sheeran, Chip, like potato chip, Sheeran, Shearin, he played that bass line. Chip is a phenomenal bass player. So if you're not following Chip, please follow Chip Sheeran. He's the bass player. I won't do that in this lesson. I'm not gonna guarantee I'm gonna remember that next time. But yeah, well, something like that. Yeah. But anyway, I hit at it. So there you go. Hey man, I was wondering, does gear matter? At a point, it does. It doesn't matter if you're getting started. If you're getting started, what matters is getting started and getting going. And if you're just trying to practice and get better, that's the most important thing. Getting better. Gear is perspective, or it's preference. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we all want to have some good gear. If you depending on certain gigs you're playing, that gear is important, but it's not the most important thing right now, in my opinion. I play on for Brandon asked the question earlier about my career when I started. When I moved down here, I didn't even have a bass rig. I was mostly a guitar and keyboard player. So when I moved down here, I didn't have a bass rig. I was playing through a PA system. My first gig, I was playing, and I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but at the same time, I'm not. It's what I had. I worked with what I had until I could get something else. I played through a PA system. Sounded terrible, but I was getting the job done. I was getting paid. So it was embarrassing pulling out a PA system and plugging up with it. But at the time, I didn't have a lot of money to. I'm just moving to a new city. I'm trying to survive, keep my head above water. You know what I'm saying? So I was using what I had. Had I known earlier, I would have invested into some stuff, like at least a bass rig. I would say this: invest. I'm saying what I say, guys. I hope you understand me in context. I'm not saying your gear is not important. Definitely invest. If you can pay $250 for some Jordans, I'm not saying you do. But if you're one of those people who pay all of this money for other stuff that has nothing to do with your craft, if you have the money available and you can invest into yourself, by all means, do it. Invest into yourself. Get the gear you need. If you're playing somewhere, or if you're preparing to play somewhere, you need to get some gear. But if you don't have the money to do that, but you do have something to work with what you got and save your money until you can buy something better. You know what I'm saying? So that's my answer to that question. Is it necessary right away? No, if you don't have the money. If you do have the money, invest into yourself. Invest in a good bass. Invest into a reliable gear. I will say that. Good bass is, that's based on the person that's buying it and based on your preference. Somebody might say a Fender is a good bass. I say Warrior is a good bass. That's the bass for me, but that don't mean that's the bass for you. Squire might be the best bass for you. Who knows? So investing in something that's reliable for you. Invest into your cables. You don't want cables that's while you trying to play your gig. Invest into some good cables. Shameless plug. Pig Hog makes great cables. I happen to just be an artist with them. Invest in Pig Hog. So yeah, get gear, but is that completely necessary if you're just getting started? It's relative. Relative to where you are. So don't take money off your don't take food off your table or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. So yeah, gear does matter, Bo. In a sense, it's relative. Great idea. You played at New Birth. Hold on. I didn't play when Kevin Bone was there, but that's the same place I played at for years. For 12 years of my life, I spent at New Birth. Kevin Bone was gone. I do know Kevin, but he was gone by the time I got to New Birth. So yeah. Cool Chip. Cool Lee. Let's see here. Should I invest in a amp head such as TC, or should I invest in a small cabinet speakers? Priority. Again, Percy, that's based on where you are. If you want to invest in TC because you like TC and you like how it sounds with what you're doing, by all means, go for it. They have affordable stuff. I demoed the what was it? The BG 250 or something. The BG 5. I can't remember. It's on my page. Y'all go through my videos. I demoed the amp. There's a small amp that they made. It's like $250. At the most $300. Surely, you can put back $300 if you want to invest. And that's a nice solid amp. And you can play it with the K212 cabinet if you just want to go TC electronic route. That's a very, very affordable rig. Less than $1,000 for the entire rig. That's very, very affordable. In my opinion, for a bass rig, a good quality bass rig. So if you want to go with something like that, by all means, you know what I'm saying? If you can afford it. If you can't afford it, do what you can do. You can go check out a pawn shop, get you something. Only thing about a pawn shop, most of the time that stuff is as is, so no warranty. If it messes up on you, you're kind of stuck with it. What was that? Bo. So that was inspiring. I asked that because I'm starting and I won't have a scarf in any jazz space. Yeah, Bo, man, that's nothing wrong with what you have. I mean, work with what you have. Y'all know I did the live broadcast a few weeks ago was use what you have. You know what I'm saying? Use what you have and just go from there. And so if that's all the questions, guys, I'm gonna jump off of here. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on here this morning with you all, but I do have some other stuff I have to do. Thank you for joining me live. These are awesome. I'm enjoying them. They're awesome because I'm getting to talk to y'all. See you later, Percy. But yeah, they're awesome, man, that I'm getting to talk to y'all. But yeah, please join me weekly. I'm gonna try to do this as much as I can. If for some reason I don't get to go live, I'll try to let you guys know ahead of time. Or you will see that I'm not live. Either way. But thank y'all, man, for tuning in. It's fun talking to y'all, man. I'm really enjoying these. And check out my latest video if you haven't seen that one already on my page. Something about building some cool bass lines or something like that. You go, y'all know what to do. Go click my name or the icon and go check out the latest video, the latest upload. But anyway, y'all, have a great day. Bruce, I see you, man. God bless you too, man. All of y'all, man, have a blessed day. Enjoy y'all day. Enjoy your life. I am out of here. And wish me safe travels. Y'all be good. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Take care. Peace. I'm trying to hang up.